Well, I just hit your guitar. We're keeping that in. Well, hello there. My name is Vlad. We're at 42 Gear Street, and I'm here with Mr. Tom Quayle.
How you doing, guys?
And we're checking out some Ibanez guitars. And there's someone at the door.
Oh.
There's the camera.
Wow.
Let me go and open.
It's exciting. It's the delivery guy.
Oh,
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
delivery guy.
What is this?
Enjoy.
Thank you very much.
I
Exciting.
thought it was a lunch, but I guess it's not.
I don't think you're going to eat this. Although it looks tasty. Wowzers.
Maybe Ibanez is expanding into kebab. But, I mean, since it's here, should we
Open it, dude. I want to see what you've got. This has been delivered to you.
Kebab guitar.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Oh, man. Dude, that is sweet.
Look at
There's a note.
from Ibanez with heart enjoy.
They're the nicest guys.
Aww, that is cute.
That is super cool. That's a brand new colour.
It's flat and it's white. It's not Vlad, it's flat.
It's the Vlad colour. The Vlad colour. I love it.
Flat Vlad.
Amazing.
What? You know what? Let's try this.
Me, I do.
And you have yours.
Look, this man, you have a flame neck as well.
Yeah.
Stunning. There's some flame in there. Very nice.
He has his guitar. This might be mine.
Yeah, this is the TQM-1. It's needs a good clean. It's been played a lot. But we'll do a comparison and see, because obviously you've got the thing with the AZ range. There's two kind of specs. You've got the dual humbuckers and then humbucker single.
Yeah.
So it's going to be nice to compare, and obviously this is a brand new finish as well. Just get rid of that. You're going to be forever cleaning this guitar.
Yeah. Oh, I'll just leave it in. I don't know. There was one guy at this event who said that he's never. I think Mika said he's never cleaning his guitar.
No, I never do mine either. I should do. Mine's filthy. Absolutely filthy.
Yeah. So this, all the body, plain maple neck, and pinky board as well. Yours is.
So mine is an older body. If we turn it around a second, so you see the shape, the scalloped kind of design is exactly the same. You've got this all-access neck joint, and then you've got the body scalloping going on here.
Yep.
This feels so smooth.
I know.
Man, that's insane. Really interesting, actually, the matte finish compared to the gloss finish. If you're a guy who likes ergonomics, that is quite something. That's amazing. Now, if you turn it back round again, this is where you'll see they differ. So they're both older bodies. Mine has a monkey pod top, which is quite a nice thick top on here as well, which looks cool. But yours is older through and through. I don't know actually, but I don't think there's a maple cap on here. I think it's just solid older.
I think it's just solid older.
Just solid older, and then finished with this matte finish. But generally, actually, the specs are very similar. So we'll run through the specs first, and then we'll change. So we'll switch guitars and kind of A/B them. So you've got the T1802 bridge, which is basically like a modernised version of the Goto 510. So it's a really great 2-point floating bridge. And you can see both guitars have titanium saddles as well. Obviously yours is missing the whammy bar, but that's in the box, so we'll get that in a minute as well. There's a few aesthetic differences, so obviously the knobs are slightly different, but generally everything works the same in terms of the design. You've got two Seymour Duncan Hyperion pickups. And then you've got a 5-way switch, which is the same on this guitar, but that's where things differ. So you've also got this alter switch.
Yep.
So Ibanez call this whole system the dyna-MIX system, which allows you to get 10 sounds out of this guitar. I don't know if anyone's gone through the switching system with you, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I've done it with Dan once, but it's been a year and a half since.
Yeah, there's
that
a lot
happened.
of positions to remember.
Yeah, we might go through it again.
10 positions to remember, so you can basically do series and parallel versions of everything,
Okay,
with splits
that's
and
cool.
that kind of thing. So you can get some really cool combinations of sounds. And then neck-wise, they're actually both. If you turn yours round, I don't know how easy it is to do close-ups with the neck, but that's actually, you can see that. That's a good shot.
Looks fantastic.
This dude is super flamey.
Yeah.
Which is very cool indeed. It's really, really nicely figured, but subtle as well with it. It's not crazy, crazy flame. But the two guitars, they use this thing called S-Tech wood, which is basically they bake the wood in a nitrogen-rich atmosphere, which removes all the moisture from the wood, and that means that the guitar is super stable. So this will never, you'll very rarely, if ever, need to adjust this. And then if we turn them back round again, the neck profile is the same on both guitars. They've both got this really nice kind of modern, slightly thicker than you would expect with an Ibanez profile. And then you've got a 12-inch radius on both guitars, and then you've got glow-in-the-dark loom inlays which are very cool. So if you're playing on a dark stage, again, I'll turn mine around so you can see. These, we can't turn all the studio lights off, but if we did, although there's windows
Yeah,
everywhere,
these are fantastic.
you'd see them glow in the dark, basically, which is very cool on a dark stage. Stainless steel frets, and they're jumbos as well, so they're very, very easy to play. It's a very easy to play guitar. And then slightly wider string spacing than you'll find on a standard kind of super strat style guitar, just by a few millimeters. And then the final pièce de résistance is the locking tuners and the, man, I hate saying this, oil impregnated bone nuts. It sounds horrible.
It does.
Oil impregnated is just not a thing you ever want to be saying. But it basically means that the nut is permanently lubricated. So again, more words you don't really want to be saying.
We're in Henning Studio, so
dude.
it feels a bit more acceptable, but yeah.
I think it feels less acceptable in Henning Studio.
True.
But anyway.
We're still in his niche.
The cool thing about these, though, is that they lock from the top, which means that you don't get the extra mass of kind of standard locking tuners, which have more mass on the back. So
really well balanced.
It's really well balanced, exactly. And as I say, incredibly ergonomic. I'm quite jealous about this. It's beautiful, killer. So why don't we run through some different sounds?
Yeah, absolutely.
With this guitar. It's going to be a struggle for me to play because I can't play in that tuning.
Oh yeah, that's true. He plays in. You turn the high E string to an F.
Yeah, so the high E is an F and the B string is a C. So I have this.
Oh yeah, so in fourths.
Which is kind of weird. So with this guitar, let's do some of the biggest differences.
Yeah, absolutely.
So obviously with this guitar we have 2 single coils and a humbucker. So in the neck position, one of the cool things that this guitar does, which you kind of do by default on that guitar, is you have the single coil bridge, which is very single coily, especially actually if I use some overdrive with this. It sings really nicely. But what you can do is you can actually flick the switch up and get these two wired in series to get effectively what is a humbucker. But because they're spaced apart a little bit more, you get a little bit more definition and a little bit more detail. So if I run through, what I'll do is I'll just grab a clean sound. I'll just run through some of the positions. So I'll keep the switch down and I'll do all 5 positions. So very single coily. Then position 3. Position 2. And then finally the bridge position.
And if I remember correctly, on the HSS guitars, it's always wired, like no matter where this switch is, if you go to the bridge, it's always the bridge humbucker.
It's always the bridge humbucker. Yeah. What you can do is if you go to position 2, so these are some of the split positions and also the combined positions. So if you go to position 2, if you flick the switch up, you've got the bridge single coil. So this is good to demonstrate with the drive sound again. So here is the bridge fully wired humbucker wise. Okay. Now I'm using a dual fusion for this. What are we running through? We're running through a Synergy
B.
It's the Bucks and Betty.
Yeah, it's the BB module.
So it's the BB and BE module.
Yeah, and we're going both into the Tonkin Sky King cab, which is mic'd with Lewitt MTP 440, and the 2-note Torpedo cab M. I'm not sure which cab it is, but...
And these guys, are they hearing both of those things?
Yeah, I'll probably end up blending those.
Yeah. So, the bridge position... this will be an interesting difference between the two guitars, actually. So the bridge position with the humbucker. Then if I move up one position and pull the switch up, we split so you can hear the noise. These are not noiseless single coils. Then switch down again, and then we have to move the pickup selector down as well. And then one more time. So it's actually a huge difference. And then the only other position that's really interesting before we switch onto this guitar and hear some of the 10 sounds that this guitar does as opposed to the 9 that this one does, is if I go to the neck single coil, when you lift the switch up, you can actually, as I say, wire these two in series. So you go from kind of a single coily neck position, And this is actually one of the things that sold me originally on this switching system, because I don't generally use a humbucker in the neck. I like a humbucker single-single. In fact, all my guitars I've owned for the past few years have been humbucker single-single, apart from a couple. And this sound is just... That's a killer sound for that kind of... kind of jazz, kind of Papafini-esque kind of lines. They're killer. So, let's... Now, how do I do this without creating a big bang? Because
we'll edit it out.
Ready? Ugh. Oh, it didn't do that big a bang, so that's fine.
No, it was more than fine.
So you can tell this is brand new. It's still got the plastic on the pickups. One of the cool things actually with the AZs, and they all have this, is if I show you there, they've got... If you guys ever checked out the gems, the original gems, they had this kind of recessed jack socket that was angled like this, and that's a very cool design. So it means if you're an idiot like me and you forget to run your strap through your... Sorry, forget to run your cable through your strap, you can't actually pull it out by mistake. So first thing, this neck feels incredible, absolutely amazing. Yeah. So you just heard the humbucker sound of that guitar. Let's check out the difference with the humbucker of this guitar. Now, bear with me, because this guitar is in standard tuning, and we haven't checked if it's in tune either. It's in tune.
We did tune it before.
Let's turn the pedal back on. There we go. Wow, we are clipping something.
Cab M seems.
So immediately, actually, one thing you'll notice is I've lowered my pickups quite far down, so you've got quite a lot more output going on here.
There's a difference.
And that's the one thing. So how do we turn the cab end?
There should be a master volume here.
Let's just check that. There you go.
I'm good.
Okay. So there's a couple of things you'll notice. This is a slightly clearer sound when you do this with this humbucker. If that's one of the when I raise the alter switch here. So I'll go through. What I'll do is I'll do each position of this guitar and then change the alter switch. Alter switch up. Notice I've gone back to cowboy chords because I can't play in this tuning. What you always find with dual humbucker guitars like this is the split positions are always a lot more, they're slightly thinner and slightly more cutting than you'll find with a humbucker single two. So if you like more Strat style single coil tones, this is more of a kind of vintagey kind of vibe. With these, it's a lot like the RGs when you would have two humbuckers like this and you would get these kind of thinner sounds.
To me, it's almost like there's something Telly-ish.
A little bit. Yeah, again, these work great for drive. This spankiness to them. Now that's something you can't get with that guitar, but also you're going to struggle to get really classic single coil tones like you would find with the bridge and middle position. So position 4 on that guitar is very, very different to a position 4 on this guitar. And then, again, raising the alter switch up. And then position 3, let me take the dual fusion off for this. And then the upper position. Position 2. That sounds great. And again, you'll notice it's kind of spanky sounding in that middle, in position 2 and position 4. Switch up. Very nasally, very kind of, it's almost, again, sort of telly sound. Take that off, and then we finally go to position 1. Very musical sounding humbucker. This is so strange for me playing in this tuning, it's almost impossible. And then switch up. Nice. So really, really versatile.
Yeah. See, my main guitar has been a Telly for, I don't know, 5 years at least. So maybe that's why I'm drawn into these. Yeah, it's kind of familiar, but there's more stuff that I cannot do with my other guitars, so it just makes sense.
Kind of makes sense. The biggest difference, I think, is the position 2 and 4 differences. Yeah. Because you get those very kind of thin, spanky sounds that they're kind of classic for a 2 humbucker style guitar. So you end up with a different tonal palette between the two. So, but man, is that a beautiful guitar. It's fantastic. Congratulations, dude.
Thank you. By the way, I can immediately feel that this has been played in, because like with matte finish next, when you play a lot, they kind of get more polished.
It's a little bit smoother.
You can, like, even if you put it on camera like this, you can see that this is probably a bit more shiny. There you go.
You can see, especially at the top here. Here.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, that guitar has many pilot hours involved. many pilot hours.
I know that you were involved in designing these guitars, actually. So what were the things that you like really wanted to have in these?
Well, the first thing in terms of the neck was obviously with Ibanez. I mentioned it before. People associate them with kind of skinny. It's just super cool, by the way. You know, obviously very flat 16-inch radiuses. I
grew up playing those guitars. I had the RG350 in pearl white.
Yeah, so my first guitar was an RG450, and I had a 570 CT as well. I had all sorts. I had an S 2070 FW as well. So all of these guitars featured very thin wizard style necks, and they're amazing for that kind of thing. And I just bought recently an RG550, one of the new Genesis ones. And that guitar is amazing for shredding. It's so funny as well, because the bridge is the edge, the original edge, I think, and if you blow on that, it goes brrrr, and you just can gargle for days. It's ridiculous. So that guitar's amazing. But for my style, I did a jazz degree quite a few years ago. I'm getting old now. And
aren't we all?
Well, yeah. And that kind of guitar just doesn't cut it for that kind of combination of things that have happened in my life. So I was a shredder and then incorporated some jazz harmony. Now I'm definitely a fusion guy. And this neck profile fits more with my sensibilities as a player now, and also just the more subtle look of the instrument as well. With the Monkey Pod, more natural look. And Humbucker single was really important to me, because it's just my sound. I'm a guy called Wayne Krantz. I don't know if you know Wayne. If you don't, you should check him out. Wayne's incredible. A New York kind of jazz fusion guitar player, in a way. Very unique sounding guy. And he uses a lot of that position 4 kind of sound, that spanky single coil. This setup is too spanky for me in that sound. It's not that classic, slightly vintage kind of position 4 Strat territory, and this gives me that. And then just super high quality hardware. Everything is unbelievably well engineered and reliable, from the bridge to the tuners, you know, again, the oil impregnated bone nut, all of that stuff. And again, the recessed jack socket. It's just, and the versatility of it, having 9 different sounds here, and again, one-upping slightly with this one with 10 sounds, which I will never forget.
Obviously, it's better because of that. More is more.
Yeah, exactly.
As some guy said.
I don't know who. Some Swedish guy. But they're amazing guitars, and I think they, you know, with the versatility of the 2 different setups. What you need to do now is you need one of these to complement this.
He's quite a salesman.
Well, there you go.
Actually, I've heard like these have been doing really well. People have been buying these.
Yeah, it's been very successful. So
I'm happy for you guys. Like you and Martin both. Like
it just needs a good clean. My word, it's covered in my fingerprints, my dirty fingerprints.
It's not
Don't
too bad.
show them.
I mean, this top is actually good because it's kind of forgiving.
Yeah,
that's true. Like it's not too bad.
It's not as forgiving as this though. This is the kind of finish. I mean, again, you guys can't. You can maybe see a little bit as I'm moving it around in the light how matte it is, but it's incredibly smooth. I'm really into these finishes actually.
Yeah, me too. Like actually, I'm continuing my series of owning just black and white guitars now.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
My tail is white. My semi-hollow double cut is.
Break with tradition. Buy one of these, dude. You can spray it black. No doubt.
So yeah, I'll have a lot of explaining to do if I go home with 2 guitars suddenly.
Absolutely.
So maybe we'll start with one and move onwards to getting maybe a second one at some point.
But congratulations. Fantastic instrument.
All right. Thanks for doing this. We might be doing a second video here as well. So thanks to, well, first of all, Henning.
Look, thanks to Henning.
Yes, he finally did. We've been looking at where is it? That way. That thing.
That is surprisingly hard to do, isn't it?
Yeah. He finally passed 97,000. Yes. Well done, people. Subscribe to his channel because he made all of this happen. That crazy guy. And also, thank you to all the brands that are here. Thanks to the supporting brands, Hosotech, Graphtech, bunch of other people. Be sure to put all end cards as a thank you for all the lovely companies that also made this possible.
There's no way this could happen without those guys, so thank you very much.
But yeah, it's been super fun. We'll move on to the next video.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Links to his channel, Vlad. To Ibanez Guitars, all of that. And you know how the YouTube work. Like, like, share, ask questions. Yeah, thanks. See you next time.
Bye bye.